On the one side, we have Ectoplasm, who's playing Emerald Steel, a deck that it's a deck that exists. And on the other side, B, it looks like we're playing Amber Steel, so a steel on steel mirror here.
Right. Just
He's
bee. It could
just
be.
B.
It could be anything. Queen bee, honey bee,
That's true.
spelling bee.
Could be on her way to the top cut here.
It's
If
absolutely
this
true.
round goes the right way.
Yes.
Because both these players 3-1 right now. Not a terrible record to have at this point in the day. I do think you want to try to, X2 at the very minimum. So both these players still a path here. But they'll have to go. Each one will have to go through the other one
Yeah.
to make it.
So I do have some fun stories about ectoplasm.
Yeah.
And this is funny because we did not pick them. They're picked by Dan. First person to ever get an autograph from me. It was It was a foil Be Prepared, back when that was $100 bill. So,
so that if you find that card in the wild somewhere, that is number one. You should have wrote number one on it. I don't know if you did or not, but
I didn't think there would be another.
well, there you go.
Okay,
So we're gonna take a look.
Looking at
Oh, go ahead.
Amber Steel Lady variant.
Lady variant and fast variant. Look at that. So we had the Daisy Ducks available. We have 2 Daisy Ducks in hand. Could have played one on turn 1, but setting up that shift there, we might see 2 Daisy Ducks on turn 2 here. Ectoplasm getting a good look with that Diablo and saying, oh my goodness, that could be fast. And there it is, Power Hamster coming down, shifting on top of the 1/16th Wolf, and immediately going to sing, banish that Diablo. She knows that shift line is out there, and being on the play here really set herself self up here on turns 1 and 2.
Absolutely. Also, getting the soul action, the soul song out of your hand, going into a turn that could have been an Ursula Deceiver from the opponent. So very smart.
Yeah, Ursula Deceiver, it's always really important to look at the play-draw dynamic with that card because it's very, very good when you're on the play. It's also good on the draw, but not quite as good because your opponent has a chance to play around it a little bit more.
Right.
And look at this fast. This is a fast deck. We're dropping a Piglet. We're dropping a Daisy Duck. That's a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 lore next turn. There's that Diablo shift, which was available.
Yes.
But instead here, playing it the slow way.
Do you see Ectoplasm's hand?
I do.
Completely bricked up on unequables.
And beyond the horizon, beyond the horizon, beyond. There's so many horizons there. And unfortunately, just not. Oh, it's going to be a rough hand here. Here we go.
Protecting.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. That Donald Duck giving another, or that Donald Duck and Bodyguard gives another lore, I believe, on entering play. So a little extra boost there to one of the characters. All the way up to 10 already. We will get rid of the Piglet. I mean, it's a little bit, but
I mean, I would have been happy to challenge that Piglet with Diablo. So since that's off the table, even better. Keep your Diablo in play and banish it with a song.
An interesting play setup here, though. I mean, the path to victory here, I think, is narrow. You have to do some board control, but one way to do it is that Beyond the Horizon paired with the Prince John. A lot of card draw off that combo, if that's around, but you can't do it if Pete comes down and says,
Yeah, here comes a Pete into another Daisy.
And this is just what a game here. I don't know, Dick, if there's a way back from this.
I can't see it personally. 15 with a Bodyguard.
Wow.
Yeah. I think I think we might have to find a backup match soon because either way this could be a 5-minute round.
Yeah. This is we have to backup match or we have to talk for a while because this could be over quickly. Power Hamster coming down there and turn 2 in his little ball and rolling to victory.
Right.
Because there's just 1, 2 Daisy Ducks, Power Hamster with resist, and then that Pete locking things out. I don't know if it would have been enough, but Ectoplasm, when you pair with Prince John, you force your opponent to discard. You can draw off the discard, and then you can draw off the card. It's a great swing, but even with the card draw, I don't think there was enough resources available to just deal with everything. So
right, I do think that she is highly favored in this matchup. I hate to give him credit, but Braden Bowdish tweeted out there, Emerald Steel is secretly a control deck that cannot handle aggro.
Well, we saw it there,
right?
For sure. Now, the play draw does matter quite a bit here because depending on the opening from the aggro deck, if you do shift that Diablo early and are able to sing, and your opponent doesn't have a response for the Diablo, in that case, B had that Storm, then you can kind of it takes a turn or two, but you can get some extra resources off the Diablo, and you can perhaps slow the deck down. So it's not the play draw. I think is really important here. And so winning the die roll for B, being able to take that game one, and now if Ectoplasm manages to squeak out game two, having the play on game three, it feels pretty good right now, I think.
Yeah, be altering, only keeping one card. I believe it was a storm. You really, yeah, on the draw, you're not looking for, say, Rhino Shift. You're really looking for a Daisy Duck just because it's a 1/4. The worst thing that could happen to you is they shift a Diablo and Storm in the same turn on curve, and then you've basically eliminated your entire turn one play. They're drawing so many extra cards.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So let's see. We have the chip, the morph, and the Pete that Ectoplasm is holding there, thinking about contemplating this altar.
Yeah, I think he's just looking to try to play a character every turn just to try to fight back a little bit.
Yep. And he did grab that. So he did draw Diablo there. We do have the Ursula. Again, these are good cards, but slower. The Ursula is really good, but into this matchup, there's not a ton of songs usually in these aggro decks. We do
Right.
know the Storm is run, but
8 to 12 typically.
so let's see how this goes.
Also showing off the Emerald Steel deck plays a lot differently than when, Luke Wonderland won DLC Seattle with it. Whereas like one of the big strategies back then was if I don't have Diablo, ship everything. Alter every single card. And now Emerald Steel players just realizing, you know what? The cards in this deck are just very good. I just want to have a reasonable game. I don't want to have a game like he had game one where he had, 5 uninkables and nothing else.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. Back in the day, and even now, you can deliver kind of a knockout blow with an unchecked Diablo early in the game. But no turn one play from B there. That
Right.
is not the game plan she wants to be on here. But now it really kind of you see the engine get going with the Prince Downs usually in the mid to end game.
Okay, and we could see her whole hand.
We
Yeah.
do, and that Ursula coming down, it is going to find a song, that Storm that we know B kept early on.
Yeah, I know a lot of people like taking the Storm because it draws a card. Strength is an inkable card, so sometimes I like taking the Strength because, well, when you only have a 1/3, was your opponent really going to Storm anyway? And
Well,
as we see,
Case
inking
in
the
point
Strength.
here, yeah, the Strength now becoming the preferred ink, keeping those characters in hand. So that's a good point. And we see it play out immediately.
Yeah, and this Piglet, what's absolutely fascinating now, you used to be able to just ignore this Piglet because it's like, oh, they could only play maybe one character next turn. Not with Lady.
Not with Lady. And fun little couple notes here. So Ectoplasm plays the Pete, locks down actions, and then sings Sudden Chill. Ectoplasm putting that Pete in an upside down position there to indicate and remind B that actions cannot be played. So I
Right.
appreciate the clear board state there from Ectoplasm. That Piglet also, fun little card frame there. You may have noticed it is from the Illumineer's Quest version, so I like to see that out in the wild here. But to your point, Dick, there is the Lady dropping 2 characters there, unlocking Piglet's ability. Piglet will now quest for 3, and then a ready Lady and Smee on the board now.
Right. Incredible burst lore that typically you would have to play 2 weaker characters than a 3-cost card.
And this is my favorite line this set. Chip coming down, chipping away at B's hand. I'm going to say that every time. Sending a card to the
Love
discard pile. It's discard that gives you a body on the board. A popular card from Return of Jafar that's worked its way into pretty much every discard package that I've seen so far.
Yeah, it's kind of amazing how much better a 3/2 is than a 2/3 because people, had options with the Amber Daisy Duck that when it enters play, your opponent discards a card from hand. However, it was quite weak. It couldn't fight back the board. It was, you'd rather you have forgotten me and just draw a bunch of cards and discard a bunch of cards. Whereas this chip, quite good.
It's true. Donald Duck coming down to protect B's side of the board in bodyguard position, giving an extra load of Smee. So Smee will quest for 3.
Yep, we do
and
need a damage counter.
we
There
do
we
get
go.
a damage counter there. We see that caught up. And Lady also questing for 2 there. So B all the way up to 8. And, one of the things in these aggro decks, early versions, like some of the hyper aggro versions that didn't run instant lore gain, like Gathering Knowledge and Wisdom, there wasn't a ton of reach, and you had to make the choice between characters that gave you a board presence and managed to quest, and cards that gave you reach, like, again, Gathering Knowledge and Wisdom or Sorcerer's Spellbook. But here in these packages, we've gotten a few cards in the last few sets. Donald Duck Musketeer is one, and then Darling Deer is another that can give you instant lore on your characters, giving you that reach for the end game.
Right.
So we see some trading going on here.
Risking putting 1 damage on Lady, saying, you know what, I don't think you have Rapunzel.
And indeed, she didn't there. The dock down for the last card in hand, I believe. That's the way you like to do it, drawing 2 cards. But I think she
Yes.
did draw Rapunzel there, Dick. I see that prize wall version, I think, as one of those 2 cards, if I spotted it correctly. Not able to play it this turn, but to your point, we can leave that lady up perhaps. And if it survives next turn, get a little bit of value there. Or you
Ooh,
can sing
even better.
and
Yeah.
get that Diablo
Getting a-
offline, even better.
Get a Diablo right out of there.
Yeah, you hate to see it. Now, there is a sudden chill in hand. There is a card to sing it. There is 1 card in hand. I sense a sudden chill coming on here. We might see
I
that in a
can feel
moment.
it in this Dallas heat.
But is that a Prince John to pair with it on the top deck? Might be.
If so, probably contemplating, do I clear this lady? It's 2 lore. Aside from that, there's only a dock in play.
Yeah, I think that's the consideration here. And perhaps a change of mind. Well, definitely a change of mind there. So instead, the sudden chill goes in,
Yep.
and the beast comes into play. I think that was the calculation, Dick, whether or not you
Yeah.
clear the lady or whether or not you attack the hand. The decision here is to clear the lady, which is the right call. I think that was a Darling Deer on the top there. Seems to be the right call because that Rapunzel is in hand and would have been played this turn.
Yeah, this was a penny, which is incredible.
Here's a
Mr.
penny.
Smee. Yeah, heals the damage that would be on it and gives it resist, so it doesn't take damage at the end of that turn. Funny enough, I believe you can penny your opponent's characters.
Well, and B choosing to leave that dock up right there, not questing with it this turn.
Right. So in the mirror match, when your opponent, when you feel your opponent has a Rapunzel, you can actually heal their their damage so they don't draw spells.
It's a fun popsicle play I see happen quite
Yes.
often. And these 2 really,
Oof.
3 really powerful characters. So
All
this
3 draw engines. in
exact. I
play.
was just about to say this deck has 3 primary draw engines that it uses to generate incredible value, and we're seeing it all on play right here. The Beast, the Diablo, and the Prince John. If you were to encapsulate what this deck is trying to do, like its various lines, like this board state captures it perfectly.
Right.
And we could see this deck go off here. B, I think, would like to be a little bit higher on lore. Speaking of which, we are going to quest here, go up to 11.
This is where one of my local players likes to say, "This is a grab your swords meta if I've ever seen it."
And 2 cards for Ectoplasm here. I mean, not bad cards for B there. There is that baby Diablo, so he'll take a look. And there's also the Ursula to pick a song. So we will take a look at the hand, see that Rapunzel. Now, we were going to play it around it anyway, but now we know we definitely need to play around it. And that
let's look
Diablo.
again.
And take it's still there. She's still there. I'm still here, she says. Wrong franchise, still good song. But now that's not a terrible draw there for B. No direct removal to deal with that lady, so the Diablo will come in, do a little bit of challenging, and then we'll pass it back over. And drawing off that Diablo there, 1/16th Wolf being drawn there. Not the best top deck in this moment.
Right.
So it is a character, but she would like to see something a little heavier.
But at the end of the day, that beast, if he's treating the beast and the Prince John as if they're items and not questing with them, she could just keep playing characters, keep questing, and she could get to 20. She's more than halfway there.
That is true, and another 3 lore available on the board here, so be able to go up to 14 if she wants to here. But with that Diablo and that beast, Ectoplasm's going to be drawing at least 3 cards a turn if he doesn't hit any more discard to pair with that Prince John. And it's a lot of cards to draw if you're hoping to avoid removal.
Right.
So it's going to be an uphill climb from this point onward. You'd really like to find some more high lore, high willpower characters like that Rapunzel or perhaps the Rhino with Resist. But here we will see the quest go up to 14.
Yeah, I mean, that's just the game plan you have to be on, right?
Be
I
holding.
I
Go ahead, I'm
call
sorry.
I call moments like this eating your vegetables. Like you don't wanna, but you gotta.
You gotta do it. That's a good way to put it. And here, B holding that 1 card in hand.
Yeah.
Always feels bad holding a single card against a deck that runs heavy discard, but make it away with it here because Ectoplasm, doesn't seem to have drawn into any discard. That might have been a chip, but I didn't get a good look. So now Ectoplasm, knowing these some of the bursts with Darling Deer and other cards available in this deck, each one of these characters with only 6 lore to go is a threat. Trying to
Right.
figure out how best to clear them out. I mean, not a lot of strong challengers except for that beast, but you hate to put damage on it if you can avoid it.
Absolutely. Yeah. Again, beast is usually an item until you're at 18 lore.
So here, just trying to figure out the lines.
Yeah, if I'm ectoplasm, I'm worried about the lady and possibly the ready rhino. The doc I would basically be ignoring at this point, just because you do need to close out the game at some point. You can draw all the cards in the world. You can still lose the game with 20 cards in your hand.
Oh, and he did draw some removal there. Strength of Raging Fire, banishing that ready character, and then another challenge, and all of a sudden, B's board is clear.
Yeah.
The only
Giving
okay,
up 4 lore to banish the doc though.
playing very conservatively,
Yes.
but dropping another card you hate to see over there. It is the Ursula Deceiver of all. But drawing into a dock here, inking that Rapunzel will
Yeah.
draw 2 cards.
And as will ectoplasm.
And
it is both of their draw steps.
This that Pete really impactful play here.
Yeah.
Actually very impactful because those ready characters, the only way in this deck to remove them is with targeted removal. I can't think of another. There's no Elsa. And drawing into the storm, you would have loved to sing that double sing that storm with the Deceiver of all, but not available here at all. So another Prince John, another Peak. That storm will just sit in the hand, not being able to be played. The thing here, there's only 2 lore on board with that Doc and that Pete, but there is Darling Deer and other plus lore characters like the Donald Duck. So perhaps another lore burst here, getting B closer.
And we could always just draw more docs and Pete's.
And always just draw more Docs and Pete's. That Pete, like an incredibly impactful play. Ectoplasm knowing got to get closer to victory. We're going to quest for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 even with that Pete. So I think you pointed out yesterday, once those Prince Johns start going sideways, you know that you're racing for the end there.
Right.
But now I have to do a check here because there's a lot of lore on Ectoplasm's side of the board. It's possible he's put himself within reach. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9,
Exactly
10,
20.
11, 12. Exactly 20. So unfortunately, like one short, and B could have quested here and then hoped, the next turn, but is going to have to do just a little bit of control. It is a dock off the top deck, so it's another couple cards. You'd love to see a Daisy. Okay, do we have removal for something so we don't have to challenge?
Or do we have Pete?
Another dock. Oh my goodness.
Pete could still sing.
Pete can sing, and you'd love to sing and remove that Ursula Deceiver of all. I think that would be the choice if you perfect turn here would be drawing into his strength, I think.
Right.
And then banishing that Ursula who is available to double sing.
Yeah, Ectoplasm did not quest with the Ursula on his previous turn, leaving room open to not have the win on this one, minus any Pete shifts, of course.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is. What did she draw? It's a Daisy, and I think that's a Rhino. Yeah, unfortunate. So we can play the Daisy, but we're going to have to challenge into something here.
Yeah, probably a Prince John.
I think, that 2 lore kind of looms rather large and prevents any more draw shenanigans off the discard. So,
Yeah.
I mean, B doesn't know it. We know it, that Let the Storm Rage on is going to be the biggest problem next turn. But getting that Rhino in play. Okay.
Yeah, possibly shrinking the beast to challenge it.
Let's see here. Okay. Banishing the Ursula.
And the Prince
John. Okay, 1, 2. That'll keep
and
that
then
game.
Shrunk the Ursula so that Pete has full health.
There we go. Okay, so it's back over. That removes 3 lore from the board. So Ectoplasm, if our math was correct last time, will now be able to get to 17 this turn. I'm not going to count again. I'm going to assume it's 17. And a lot of lore left over on that side of the board. So the Daisy, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ready. That's unfortunate because it's not enough to close out the game. So we're going to see some storming. We're going to see some challenging. Ectoplasm hoping to keep it out of reach. I will mention again Darling Deer because in these lists, I would be surprised if B wasn't running one. It's a card that can give 2 lore, I believe, Dick,
Yes,
to a character upon entering play.
Yes.
So as we're doing the math here, we know there's a route to victory if B can keep 4 lore worth of characters on the board this turn.
And this is one of those cards that I'd love to just run 1 or 2 of because even when you ink it game 1, your opponent has to play around it for games 2 and 3.
But I think with that Storm, probably we'll be able to do that. Let's see the sequence here. We're putting stuff in the cove, getting a cove was a great card to draw there. It makes the trades a lot more favorable.
It looks like he's putting the stuff in the cove that he wants to use to challenge this turn. So
Oh, there's 2 storms.
I would assume the P into her P and the Diablo into the dock, and then storms are brewing. The weather people, they're loving this.
Oh my goodness. There goes 1, 2 cards off the storm. Just Ectoplasm playing that carefully. That card will need to go to the bottom of the deck there. Just a note. That card does not stay in the discard pile when it's double sung.
Up until recently, it's unclear if it should go on the bottom, even if you did not double sing it. There's an errata. I believe Ursula is the first card to be errata twice.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
So now we have that other storm available. We've done some challenging. There's 3 lore left over. That Darling Deer now won't do it by itself if we draw into it. So a little bit of breathing room. And let's see if Ectoplasm wants to remove one more thing. Perhaps getting that Rhino shift off the board. He's going to take a look. What do you got? It's a Daisy. Not super helpful when you're looking to close out the game in 1 turn. Another Prince John coming down. We still have Singers available for that storm.
And, do you remember just a couple of turns ago when he had 0 cards in hand?
I do.
The power of these draw engines that you featured earlier. Second to none.
Nope. Second to none. All those draw engines engaged this game. So a lot of board control done there. I think B was in a really good spot if Ectoplasm didn't have the storms. He did. And B now with 2 lore left up. I'm not sure what it's a Rapunzel, so it won't be super helpful, and that's it. She doesn't have it to close out the game, and we'll go on to a game 3
with her on the play.
With her on the play, and that's where this deck wants to be. If I was betting, I'm willing to bet that a good portion of B's wins were winning on the play, trying to steal that game on the draw, but then taking it on the play in game 3.
Right, unless she ran into Sapphire, then that could have been an easy 2-0.
Easy 2-0.
Yeah, as we saw Xenulos lose in 5 or 10 minutes out there.
That's true. Those people who like these aggro Amber Steel lists got a good look at several in the World Championship last weekend.
Yeah,
with several Worlds players running incredibly aggressive Amber Steel lists that closed out. I remember I had a round I sat down to do in the World Championship, and it finished in I think 9 minutes.
And his name was Edmund Chu.
Yeah, his name was Edmund Chu. Just like a train chewing over his opponent. That was terrible. Don't let me get away with that, chat.
I immediately made a meme for Twitter of Ed looking very serious as he does, and it says, "I do not get paid by the minute."
Yep. It's funny because you, as a broadcaster, you're off around, and you get all energized and you get all excited and you go into the booth and you're like, I can't wait for a good game. I can't wait for a game, 3 games to talk. And then when it finishes in 8 minutes, you're like, all right, well,
yeah,
I feel like I got shortchanged.
One of the disadvantages of doing it live, one of the advantages is no spoilers.
No spoilers. That's true.
Yeah, we are absolute live here, so which I think most people really appreciate.
So Ectoplasm, taking a look here, it looks like we're going to ship 3. I'm guessing he's waiting for B, I think, to finish the altar.
And did she go full 7?
It seems to be the case. I wasn't watching, but based on how she dealt out the cards, it seems to be it. Ectoplasm keeping initially, say we second guess that card, but there's a morph, the morph shift available for either the beast, but the Diablo is what we have in hand, and the storm pairs nicely without Diablo on the shift.
Yes,
also a Deceiver
and we do
Ball.
have morph to shift onto. So these cards are excellent on the draw. And I think they're the cards he's looking for. It's the way to catch up in a game of Disney Lorcana. There's a few. One of them is characters with rush. One of them is characters with shift. And one of them is songs. Those are really the most powerful ways to, I was on the back foot. I'm catching up because I'm kind of getting more than I've paid for.
No, absolutely. And catching up in the first couple turns will be really important here if Ectoplasm wants to prevent getting steamrolled again. But one of the ways to do that, to your point, get those really swingy turns, that Ursula paired with that Let the Storm Rage on that he has in hand is going to
Right.
be a great way to do it as well. B, not a ton of interaction with her opponent's characters, is not looking to do a ton of, removal. She does run some storms, so that is available if she wants to hang on to that.
Right. But we do have an Ursula Deceiver as well to clear out any of that nonsense from Ectoplasm. So, yeah, if B has a really aggressive start, that's as
Speaking of aggression, that's
as you can get.
as you can get in Lorcana right now. A 1/4 on turn 1, that Daisy Duck. Let's see what else in hand. I see the Piglet. That's a great turn 2 play.
Oh, drew into another Piglet.
Oh my goodness! I mean, she has the cards, and I
Even
mean,
a bodyguard to follow. Wow.
Like one of the biggest impacts in this game right now is Ectoplasm not having that 1-turn Diablo. If he has that Diablo on turn 1, this game is completely different. And we're gonna whiff on that Daisy Duck there, not finding a character off the top deck. We did draw another song, some removal. If we can establish some characters, that'll help. But we'll have to do it quickly. We could either play the Deceiver here to take a look at the hand, pick a song, or you play that Morph for that Diablo shift.
Personally, I'm playing that Morph because we're going to have to shift Diablo on 3. Goes to the Inkwell.
Morph into the Inkwell. Take a look. No songs, but plenty of characters to work with.
And sees all the bad news.
All the bad news. I mean, there's cards to protect from actions. There's a card to protect from other characters. There's another Piglet, and drawing a Smee off the top deck. And then when the hand gets empty, there's a dock there to refill it. So just a lot of all the right things for B.
Drawing that Mr. Smee is critical just because her hand is so good. She just doesn't want to draw uninkable songs.
Donald Duck coming down here. Musketeer giving an extra lord a Piglet who will now crest for 4. And another 2 off the Daisy. The strongest Piglet being guarded by a Musketeer now. Pooh Pirate Captain doing, I don't know, Piglet things, gaining lore. I don't know. I never thought of Piglet as a powerful quester, but
I was going to say, missed a Daisy trigger, but she backed him up. Good on her. Absolute, solid gameplay. And she's like, you know what? It's turn 3. I'm at 8.
Yep. Yep. That's where you want to be. So Ectoplasm here, I mean, one of the catch-ups is getting that Deceiver of All into play. Yes. We know we have some Storms to pair with it. We can pair it with some Storms, or if we drop another character, we can put a Strength in to do a little extra damage. There's a lot of willpower on the board right now. So that Strength of Raging Fire could be the answer as opposed to the Storm Rage on, but we'll see which way it goes next turn. We'll have to wait a whole other turn, though. And in the meantime, B will get another round of questing in.
And if he is to challenge this Donald Duck, like it looks like he's contemplating, the Donald Duck could then challenge right back, and that's one less character. And the Donald Duck still being in play, still bodyguarding everything else, but then that Strength on the other side coming nowhere close to clearing Strength of a Raging Fire coming nowhere close to clearing this Daisy Duck.
And if B wants to recharge her hand too, there are Rapunzels available, which is opened up a little bit more to the challenge here. But I don't see any in hand.
Right, and she had Doc, so she's...
and there it is.
The best answer to Ursula.
Best answer, Deceiver of All. If you can't remove her, stop her from doing her things. And we're going to whiff again with the Daisy Duck. So the card's very much not in Ectoplasm's favor here, as he's whiffed 3 times on that Daisy Duck. And, oh my goodness, that Pete feels really, really good right there.
Right, absolutely zero capability of removing this Piglet. This Piglet has gained 7 lore already. It's gonna gain 10. If you're counting at home, that's halfway there. Just from the little Pooh Pirate Captain.
Little Piglet. Little Piglet there.
Wow.
He's a very small animal, but a very powerful quester.
It's the Piglet that could. And B thinking, let's look cool, calm, and collected because I'm about to win on stream.
Yeah, Ectoplasm just doing the math here. I mean, that bodyguard is protecting all of the higher lore and the handshake. There's just nothing. That Pete was, I mean, that was it. I mean, an Ectoplasm, not with the ideal opening. He really, and he's saying, you can tell what he's saying right now. I didn't have the Diablo in turn 1. I wanted to play the shift. I wanted to sing. I wanted to slow you down. I knew what the line was. I just didn't have it. And B, with probably one of the better openings she could have had all the right answers.
Absolutely.
And that Pete, just slamming the door shut.
Yeah, on a full altar of 7.
On a full altar of 7. And my goodness, this deck is fast.
Yeah. I mean, you know what? this is a TFM Kylie special, by the way. I don't know if you know, TFM Kylie went to Toronto. It was the only DLC she played in, and we brewed up a Ruby Emerald evasive, and she won a Rapunzel. She got 33 points. I only got 36 points at DLC, and I would call myself a professional.
There you go.
Yeah. So if any enjoyers of aggro are out there, Bee's your girl.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. She has shown I came to play and I came to win.
And aggro decks sometimes, especially with way back in the day, before we had a lot of cards with reach and interaction, like the hyper aggro deck everybody went to is Amethyst Amber,
Yes.
and because it had all the highest lore things, trinkets, and some bodyguards, to play around with as well. Everybody remembers Lilo turn 1, Simba turn 2.
Right.
And kind of the mentality back then, because of the lack of interaction and tools and stuff, was mostly it was drop cards on the table and turn sideways and gain lore fast.
Yes.
But there's actually a lot more skill to it nowadays with some of these aggro decks, because you do run some interaction with, again, B running the storms. There's some other cards with reach and the altar so important. And so it takes a lot of skill. And we have seen some players run aggro decks to the top of DLCs. Clara Sear with her Lemon Lime or Amber Emerald aggro list ran to the top of DLC Vegas, I think, getting her invites to the North American Championship there with an aggro list. And so aggro, sometimes people give it a bad rap as if it doesn't require much skill because it's just win fast. But really, it does take a lot of skill to pilot. And in some metas, it is absolutely the right call. And B piloting it here to a 4-1 start.